Hello everybody, what's up? My name's Christian here on PlaystationFollower, and welcome to another episode of Eyes Up. This week on Eyes Up, we're going to be talking about the weekly reset of Destiny 2 as always, as well as the brand new information coming from Twitchcon, as well as some Datamine info that may or may not be true about what to expect in the coming months from Destiny 2. But first thing, as always, let's talk about the weekly update. So let's start things off talking about this week's Nightfall. The strike this week is the Arms Dealer, and the modifiers we're going to be running on it are Torrent and Time Warp. If you Guardians have been paying attention, it's the same modifiers as last week, because Torrent greatly increases the recharge rate of your abilities, so if you're a Striker Titan like me and you can throw out those double pulse grenades, super helpful. And 0 hour being the other modifier, which prevents the mission timer from being extended. Moving on, let's briefly mention the meditations this week. Go to Ikora if you want to replay Unbroken, Payback, or Larceny. Again, if you can play the meditations, it means you beat the game and you know what the missions are. So instead, let's move on to talk about what's new at Eververse. I got the inventory from Tess Everest running underneath my voice right now, but for myself, the things that stand out the most are the Viced Poison Shimmer Shader, I love that thing, as well as the Floss Dance, because my friend has it and I want it and I don't have it yet. So I'm gonna buy it. Not with real money, I have a bunch of dust left over, don't worry. But let's keep talking about the powerful gear getters. This week's Flashpoint is on IO, so be sure before you head over to IO, you head over to Cade first and you grab all of his treasure maps because they are also on IO this week. And as always, like every week, you can head back into the Crucible to fulfill Shax's call to arms. So enough about the powerful gear that most of you are probably not caring about because you're already at 305. I know we're a PlayStation channel, but let's give it a little bit of a moment to shout out Destiny 2 launching on PC today. My brother's big on PC gaming and he's been waiting to check out Destiny 2 on PC, as I'm sure many of you are, or you could be in the large, probably, group of people that already bought Destiny 2 and are buying it again for the 60 frames, 4K amazingness that only the PC Master Race can provide you. So, with all of that busy work out of the way, let's talk about the news we were given over the past week as far as Destiny 2 goes. And I'm of course talking about the TwitchCon event that happened late last week, where Bungie showed off brand new Eververse and seasonal content, and sort of gave an update about the meta of Destiny 2 as it stands. So if you don't feel like listening to all the details, the TLDR of all of this is lots of new Eververse gear, there's new ghosts, there's new merch. Iron Banner is going to be changing the way you can access guns and ornaments for your armor sets. Exotic emotes will be seasonal items that you can obtain through Eververse, and pretty much the main reason they're pumping out seasons is so we don't have any dry spells of no content between expansions like what happened in Destiny 1, and it's worth noting that most, if not all, of the seasonal activities are strictly PvP driven. And honestly, I think this is a really good idea. I know there's a huge portion of Destiny players who strictly love the PvE, and that's what they want, and that's why they're quote-unquote bored with the endgame compared to Destiny 1, and there's all sorts of other things. I know there's the complaints about RNG and the way you're getting guns and the token system and all that stuff. I know that is a big reason, but lack of PvE content is also a pretty big problem I've seen from people who are upset with the current state of Destiny 2 on forums right now. There will be another Iron Banner / faction war coming before Season 2 begins in December, and it's worth noting that the Season 2 big event to kick it all off is the Dawning, which will be returning, and possibly Sparrow Racing League, more on that later. Last week I brought up the event of Festival of the Lost, and it is sadly confirmed that it will not be coming this year. DJ at Bungie said to not worry, it could reappear in the future, but mainly since they had the PC launch and all the seasonal content, that they wanted to focus on that, and they didn't really have time to work in Festival of the Lost this year, and that the Dawning would be the first event. But fellow Guardians, it's time to break out the tinfoil hats, because we got some Destiny 2 data mining to talk about. So user the Ecumene on Reddit posted a pretty detailed explanation about some of the stuff he found through data mining Destiny 2. More specifically is what he found in the audio files, and I've linked to the post down below if you are interested in reading up on his description of things and how the sort of mysteries of Destiny 2's expansions could be coming across. Take this with a grain of salt. Some of this could be old and reworked content, it could have been cut, and it could have just been scrapped altogether, or could have been saved for later DLCs. So recapping what some of the notable excerpts are from the new audio files are voice lines about new worlds of Ganymede and Myriad, lines about Destiny 1 patrol zones on Venus, Mars, the Dreadnought, and Old Russia. Phobos and Mercury are talked about, and Phobos is hinted as a new patrol zone. The Reddit post is also claiming that all Destiny 1 events will return along with new ones, and as we have seen, there are new events coming, and the Dawning will be returning, and so has Iron Banner, so there's a little bit of leeway there. We got some evidence for that. Here has to be the highlight for me. The Reef and the Prison of Elders along with Petra and Varix are mentioned. I love Prison of Elders so much. It was one of my favorite things to do in Destiny 1 with my buddies, but it will be pointed out that the Prison of Elders has been declined, it's been negated. There's no way Prison of Elders is coming back, and that has been spoken by Cosmo over at Bungie. However, they also said that the farm is the only new social zone, and Prison of Elders could just be being thrown around as a way to sort of get across what type of game mode this will be, essentially filling the void instead of saying infinite horde mode. Like I mentioned earlier, this post is also claiming that the Sparrow Racing League will be returning, as well as possibly the Black Garden and the Vault of Glass. So just some notable things in there, unless they got a bunch of people who are really good at doing impressions of most of the characters in Destiny that we can find around the tower, then it's safe to say that most, if not all of this audio is legitimate. Again, you can take from this what you will. For me at least, I'm hopeful that some of my favorite things from Destiny 1 will be returning, like a Prison of Elders mode, some new areas and some old areas, and who knows, Bungie's got some surprises for us, no doubt, over the course of the next few expansions and months. So this is where I'm turning to all of you. We got a handful of community comments this week from our Discord. For the most part, people on our Discord are pretty enthusiastic about all this Datamine info, if it turns out to be true, of course. And some people in the follower community are a little bit upset about the whole PvP, PvE sort of mishap as far as seasons go. There is a point of view that can look at seasons and say, hey, this is just more Eververse stuff, so pay money, pay silver, microtransactions. And sure, that is a way to look at it. It's something that you have to consider though, because the community is not all one-sided. Of course, there will be multiple perspectives when looking at this. So that's probably gonna do it for everything this week on Eyes Up. I'm really, again, excited to lead this show on Follower into the future. So, I want all of you to get involved. Don't be hesitant. Please join our Discord, comment down below, and you will be featured in the next episode of Eyes Up, as long as you have something worth saying. So please, let me know your thoughts on all the stuff I talked about today. It will be featured at the end of the video next week on Eyes Up in the community comments section. So, with all of that being said, be sure to check out our Discord, our Patreon, if you want more direct access to all of us at Follower. And with all of that being said, greatness awaits, and I'll see you all in the next video.